Today I have a shortened review of the new Thrunite Catapult Mini, a handheld thrower and an 18350 battery. While not super bright in the number of lumens, the light really does throw well for its very small size. Thanks to Thrunite for sending this to me to take a quick look at and review. Guys, life is getting a bit busy right now, and will be for the next couple of months. So you'll see fewer videos from me, but I'll still try and stay active and update my social media pages, so make sure you're subscribed to them so you don't miss anything there. Packaging is the Thrunite standard box. Nothing much to mention there. Here are the accessories that you get along with the light. You get a USB A to C cable. You get your lanyard, which on this light might actually be useful given its small size. A couple extra O-rings, spare port cover, the manual, and you get the battery as well. You can see it's 1100 milliamp hour, 18350. It does have that positive and negative terminal on the side there, but the good news is with this light, you do not need that proprietary battery. The Catapult Mini is available in two colors. You've got a black and a gray that I've got here. It's made from 6061 T6 aluminum and is nicely machined and anodized, exactly what you expect from Thrunite. On mine, the engraving here, laser etching on the top, does not seem to be quite even, and so that way on both sides. It comes into three pieces. You've got this tail cap here with just a spring inside. It is non-magnetic. That's where your lanyard tube attaches. The body tube here does have a knurling pattern that is similar to what we found on the TT20, just scaled a little bit in size. You do have the little bit of heat sink here for style and grip. You've got that standard Thrunite button there, same as what they use on most of their lights. On the back here, you've got that port cover that is recessed. It does stay out of the way nicely. You've got that USB-C port there for charging that works nicely there, as you can see. The head then grows in diameter quite a bit, and this is what the front end of it looks like. You've got that optic in there, and you've got a piece of glass over that. The bezel does unscrew. I'm not going to take it completely apart there, but it does come off, so it's easy to modify, and you have access to the PCB if you want to or need to. So a bit of a size comparison here. Here's the Wukos FC11 that I've reviewed often, 18650 light. A little bit hard to see on the mat. You've got an Olight Baton 3, and you can see the Catapult Mini is just a little bit longer, not a whole lot longer than the Olight, which is amazing given it's a thrower. Here is the Lumentop Thor 2 that I reviewed a little bit ago. This is a leap light and quite small in the 18350 configuration. You can see the Catapult Mini is even smaller. And here it is with the original Catapult. Actually, this is the SST70 version here. You can see it's almost about half the size. This light is using the Osram KW CSL NM1TG LED in cool white, but to my eyes, it's definitely more neutral than cool, which is nice. The beam here is extremely focused, and we can see that on my map pretty well here. There is a very, very minimal amount of spill. This is basically 100% thrower, and no PWM was observed on any of the 5 modes. Outputs are officially listed at turbo at 680 lumens, high at 235, medium at 96, low at 21, Firefly at half a lumen. Strobe is good for 680 lumens, and on maximum mode, it's good for 89,600 Candela. Here are my night shots for the Thrunite Catapult Mini. It's running that Osram KW CSL NM1TG LED, quite a mouthful, in cool white. This is the Firefly mode at half a lumen, very bright for half a lumen because of that focused beam. Here is low, 21 lumens, and if we go, you can see that hits my fence. No problems. Again, very, very focused beam. It even hits the neighbor's fence. This is really impressive for only 21 lumens. Next up is medium, 96 lumens here. Does a nice job hitting the neighbor's fence. That's roughly 50 yards, I'd say. You can see it hits across the street as well. That's well past 100 yards, easily hitting those trees there. Here is high, 235 lumens. You can see it does a nice job of hitting those trees. You could easily spot an animal or a person at that distance with this beam, and closer it does well as 2. And here is turbo, 680 lumens. They claim this is good for 600 meters, and at these distances you can see it does a nice job of illuminating things. Again, it's a tight beam. There is a little bit of spill, as we can see as I move off, but it's mostly focused. This claim about 89,000 Candela here. Bit of comparison here is the Olight Warrior 2 Mini that I've reviewed recently. It is 1750 lumens. It's got a 220 meter beam distance here. So this is a lot broader beam, lot bigger light than what the Mini Catapult is. And you can see it doesn't even reach those trees, even though it's a lot more lumens. Then here is my Thrunite Catapult SST70. This is the newest light that I've reviewed from Thrunite in that Catapult line. You can see the hot spot here is just a lot bigger. This is a lot bigger light in the head, but the beam distance here is only about 680 meters versus the minis here 600. So the mini ends up being a tighter beam, smaller package, whereas the SST70 version of the Catapult, it's a lot more expensive light, a lot bigger hotspot, but a relatively similar distance. So with this OSRAM LED, the Catapult Mini here is pretty impressive overall for its night shots, and it's not as cool white as you can see there. It's a little bit more neutral, I'd call it. So that's always nice to see too. So if you're looking for a pocket thrower, this Catapult Mini is a pretty dang good option. Turbo on this light lasted for 1 minute before stepping down. Maximum total temp reached was at 1:30 at 35°C, so it gets warm pretty quickly, but not in the danger zone. It holds this for most of the duration of the light before it steps down there at the end. You get 2 hours of total runtime before running in Firefly mode for about another 30 minutes or so. You do get a low voltage indicator on the button itself that goes to red, and total runtime was 2 hours 30 minutes. Nothing here is surprising, not too bad for something this size. So the UI is your standard Thrunite UI. You've got 3 main modes, including Firefly. So if I turn on, this is Firefly. I can turn that off, and then I can go back into low, medium, and high. Pretty simple. Double click to go to turbo. Triple click to go to strobe. Pretty simple. Recharging is accomplished via the onboard USB-C. I had no experience getting this to work with USB-C to C or USB-C PD. Other reviewers have had that option. I've tried it with multiple chargers and cables, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe it's my light, or maybe it's just the testing methods differ between reviewers here. So I used the USB-A to C or a converter cable there. Not a huge deal, but something that's disappointing in 2021. Charging is on the conservative side here. It took 2 hours even to charge the included 1100 milliamp hour 18350 battery from 3.035 volts, which is low voltage protection, to full at 4.145 volts. Total charge rate was about 0.6 amps, and while charging you can use all modes of the light. And a quick note about that battery, like I mentioned before, it does have that positive and negative terminal, and that positive terminal is recessed, so you think, hey, this is going to be required for this light, but I tested with a Keep Power flat top 18350 that I run in some of my other lights, and I had no issues. That charged just fine here, and the light ran in all the modes fine. So it's great to see you do not need a customized cell for this light. So my conclusion is that the pocket throwers seem to be popular this year and last year. I found that the Thrunite Catapult Mini to be a good performer, especially for its size. While it's not the brightest in terms of lumens, it really does throw impressively for its size. I seem to say this a lot, but non-flashlight people will really be impressed with how far you can reach with such a small light. I remember using a 6-cell D mag light as a kid because it could go really far, and this thing was huge. It was almost 2 feet long and weighed a ton when it was full of batteries. This light outperforms that thing in all ways, and it's pretty affordable too. I do wish Thrunite would go back to offering more neutral white LEDs and even some warm tints when they launch new products. They were one of the only few manufacturers doing this, but they've seemed to gotten away from it recently. That said, here I'd call tint here pretty neutral, even though the box says it's a cool white. So I like the Thrunite Catapult Mini and can recommend it. Everyone needs a pocket thrower if you are a flashaholic, and this is a good choice for a lot of fun, and it even comes in color choices other than black if you want that. Thrunite has good customer service and support too if you should ever need that, and even better, it's on sale right now for around the $40 price point at the time of filming. So if you're interested, please check the link in the description below to where you can purchase it and help out the channel while doing so. As always, guys, let me know what you think of the Thrunite Catapult Mini. If you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them, and I will see you on the next review. Thanks for watching.